Thanks a lot, movie. You didn't help me in my questioning of my faith in God. You're the reason I'm questioning my faith in God. A Question of Faith is the latest in the herd of Christploitation movies, those being the ones made by the Christian film studios. In this movie, people have problems, they pray, problem solved, the end. Yeah, that's the movie for you. I want to clarify. I don't want to hate Christian movies. In fact, there have been a few surprising ones. Back when I was doing discussion videos with my friends, we had some good things to say about Captive and I'm Not Ashamed, though yes, every once in a while we did run into a disaster like War Room. And this is one of those times, because regarding the worst faith-based films, A Question of Faith is among the top 3. This movie has no structure. It accomplishes nothing more than 3 families going through something tragic, they mope and dope around, and they get some words of advice about how it's all part of God's plan, you just gotta trust Him, Proverbs 3:5, and all that. None of the stories are interesting, and all of the characters are two-dimensional at best. Plus it has that really on-the-nose exposition that so many of these movies have. So the way these 3 stories connect is that there are 2 parents, one of them is about to become the new senior pastor at the local church, and they have a 12-year-old son who is killed by a car. Then there's a teenager who texts while driving, and she's the one who ends up killing said son. And there's an aspiring singer who's suffering from heart failure and needs a transplant, and the boy's heart can save her if his parents agree to donate. And it all gets resolved when they say, "I trust you, Lord." That's as deep as this movie gets. It has nothing worth thinking about, and consistently resorts to preachiness that it hopes its Christian audience will confuse for profundity. It gets so manipulative when a voiceover is reciting Psalm 23 while someone is walking dramatically down a hallway, or just about any time people are exchanging Bible passages. Do the filmmakers really think that reciting Bible verses on screen is some kind of major accomplishment? John 11:35, Jesus wept. See? Nothing to it. And it's so weird when this movie puts scripture in text on screen after 30 minutes of runtime have passed. We generally see scripture at the very beginning or very end of one of these movies, which makes sense. This movie has one passage at the beginning, but also another just thrown in the middle. It's totally out of place. But the movie doesn't stop at spouting just biblical sermons. There's also an entire scene dedicated to a lecture about the dangers of texting while driving. Did showing that habit getting a 12-year-old killed not make that point clear enough? Speaking of which, one of the praying scenes is with the mother of the girl who has the texting driving issue. While she's in juvenile detention, the mother prays to God, admitting that what her daughter did was a sin. I'm sorry, sin? I mean, what she did was foolish and it caused an accidental death, sure, but you're saying that her driving habits were biblically wrong? Yeah, check your concordance for the word texting and let me know what you find. I did kind of like the idea of the boy's parents being emotionally torn about donating their son's organs, because despite the good that would come of it, his death was so untimely, and they don't even know if he would have wanted to have his parts donated. It's a good conflict that's very poorly dramatized here. The acting in this movie is so wooden. It's more wooden than Noah's Ark. When the boy's mother walks into the emergency room to see her son there, this is her delivery. "Oh no, not my baby." So much of the acting is this dry that it only serves to take you further out of whatever stirring scene this movie tries to create. And every filmmaking asset in this movie is inexcusably sub-amateur. The cinematography has that gaudy Hallmark look that makes the background look like it's a bad green screen, even though it's probably not actually. There's really bad ADR during the worship scenes in church, and the score is annoyingly bland. And the editing is unfocused. There are at least 2 instances where the movie will cut from one scene to a part where someone is talking to God for about 20 seconds. And then it will just cut back to the scene that came previously. It's terribly sporadic. One part that unfortunately had me smirking is the car accident scene, when the camera puts dramatic emphasis on the boy's feet as he steps off the sidewalk onto the road. In the end, Pure Flix has had a number of duds in the past, but I don't think they were even trying with this one. It exists merely to say things that its audience will agree with, and I find it almost insulting that they think this passes for filmmaking. I'm going to have to give A Question of Faith an 11%. I have to add this. Christian filmmakers often credit God as their motivation to make these movies. They'll say, "We're doing it all for the creator of the universe." Okay, fair enough. So even if you don't think that we as the audience deserve more effort, don't you think he does? That's a wrap. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this review helpful. Like if you liked, subscribe for more. This is Pop Culture. I'm Alex Pop.